Here we have a primary residence which we bought in 2005 for R1 million and sold recently for 2.5 million. With a profit of 1.5 million and a primary residence exclusion of 2 million, we would expect zero capital gain, but we can see a capital gain of 150,000 rand. You see, with the residency period in the equation, the primary residence exclusion pretty much goes out of the window unless the residency percentage multiplied by the profit exceeds the primary residence exclusion. In this case, 90% of the 1.5 million profit is 1.35 million, which is less than the 2 million primary residence exclusion. This means that we ignore the primary residence exclusion, and the amount for capital gain is the non-residency period of 10% of our profit of 1.5 million. What happened in this particular case is that we rented out 10% of the house and we had residence of 90% of the house. Maybe we even rented out 10% of our house to our private business while we lived in the other 90% of the property. Anyway, you can see here that our gain amount is 10% of our 1.5 million profit, so our amount for capital gain is 150,000 rand. Let's have a look at a case where we made a bigger profit. I'll change the sale price to 32 million. Here you can see that the residency period of 90% times the profit of 31 million is more than the 2 million rand primary residence exclusion, so our capital gain is the profit of 31 million less the 2 million rand primary residence exclusion as normal. Only when the residency period percentage times the profit is less than the 2 million rand primary residence exclusion does the 2 million rand exclusion fall away, and our amount for capital gain is the non-residency percentage of the profit. Starting again with a different taxpayer who started a small business in 2005 with 1,000 rand and sold it recently for 3 million. We can enter these details as well as acquisition costs, improvements, etc. into the CGT calculator, and it will work out our profit for capital gains. We may be entitled to a deduction of 1.8 million once in a lifetime, depending on conditions. So let's go through some of the fine print as is shown here when you click on this blue info button. The first 1.8 million of profit on a small business is exempt from capital gains tax provided that you are either over 55 or that you were forced to sell the business because of ill health. The exemption is per person and not per business. The total value of all taxpayers' businesses must not exceed 10 million rand. In the case of a partnership, each partner may be entitled to 1.8 million deduction, provided that the sale of the business is finalized within 2 years. Any unused portion of the exempt amount may be carried forward to a possible future business sale, provided that the total value of all sales is less than 10 million rand.